Welcome to Johnny on Energy. We're here in Ivy, Virginia at a home that has both geothermal heating and air conditioning and solar hot water. So you're going to get to see a tour today that's really interesting, hitting both of those. And I am here with Bill Ware, of the president of High Caliber Construction. They were the design build firm on this home. And I'm also here with Paul Risberg, who you've seen in some of our other videos, and of Alt Energy, and they did the solar thermal work on this home. So Bill, tell us a little bit about the construction of the home, why you chose these technologies, how you worked with a homeowner and so forth to come up with this.
Well, it's interesting as we go along here. There seems to be more and more demand for the so-called green products, but we've also found that our clients have a practical side to them in that they want to be able to look at a reasonable payback period for these things as well. So in the very beginning, when we were designing this home, we brought in Paul with his solar hot water system. That was something that the homeowners really had their heart set on in the beginning, and the way Paul has things set up, that also has a reasonable payback period. I think the thing that really put the owners on the buying the geothermal side of the fence was the fact that there is a federal tax credit now that makes the price difference between a conventional system and a geothermal system only maybe in this house, which is about 5,000 square feet, only about 10,000 more in cost. So there's a very reasonable payback period, and in the process, of course, the clients are being a little more environmentally friendly in the process as well.
Great. Paul, any thoughts on the solar thermal? I know it's relatively new, and but it is in full operation.
Well, it actually was a nice challenge for us in working with Bill to try to find just the right combination of size and capacity for the system for this house, and trying to what we actually ended up doing is reducing the size of the thermal slightly because we got some extra input from the geothermal system. So each house is different, and I think we reached a really nice balance on this house.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Great. Hey, well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the technology here, both internally and what's out on the exterior on the roof.
Paul, again, I just wanted to give you a quick run through of the solar thermal portion of the system that we've got on this home. What I'm going to do is just point out some individual components, and then I'll come back and try to take you through the path of operation of the system. This is a controller. This is a pumping station. This is a storage tank for the solar, which we actually have energized with electricity as backup. This also is a storage tank that's being used to take excess heat generated by the geothermal system and put it into the domestic hot water system. The whole design of this system was to try to utilize any extra or alternative heating sources that we could. So it's kind of a hybrid system. It's becoming more and more popular these days, but Bill at High Caliber and I worked on trying to find the best opportunity to use solar thermal and geothermal to get the most payback for the homeowner. So what we've got here is I'm going to remove the cover from the pumping station, and we'll look in a few minutes. You can get a look at the collectors, which are mounted on the roof. They're evacuated tube collectors. But what we are doing is we're taking a fluid and circulating it through the collectives. This fluid is propylene glycol. It's a non-toxic antifreeze, which of course, being in Virginia, we do need to use antifreeze because it's frequently below freezing outside here, and water would damage the collectors as it froze. So we use antifreeze, and we take a controller, we put a sensor on the roof which tells us what the temperature inside the solar collector is. We take a sensor and put it in the bottom of our solar storage tank, which is this sensor right here, and we simply have a pump which gets energized either on or off depending on the temperature differential. And so what we're looking for is an opportunity to take heat from the collector. In other words, it has to be higher by 15 degrees at least than the temperature in the bottom of our solar tank, which is full of potable water that the homeowner might use. So our the operation of the unit will simply be that, say it's 120 degrees in the collector, it's 100 degrees in this tank. Those two signals come to the controller, which tells the pump to turn on, and so it's a loop which pushes coolant up into the collector through the top of it. It returns back down through here, enters a coil, a copper coil in the bottom of the solar tank, delivers the heat. In other words, it's 120 degree coolant, but it's 100 degree water, so it gives up some heat, not all of it, but some, into the water in this tank, which is going to be used by the homeowner. It then exits the collector, so it never, the heat exchanger, so it never actually mixes with potable water. It's just all self-contained. It's what we call a closed loop system. It actually exits the heat exchanger in the tank and comes back into the closed circuit where it returns to the collector. This controller simply monitors those two temperatures when there's heat to be had. In other words, there's the sun is shining. The collectors are going to heat enough to provide a differential between the coolant temperature and the water in the tank, and the pump's going to keep that loop circulating. When it cools off, either from clouds or, of course, as the sun recedes during the day or during that nighttime, the system's simply inoperative. So that's the nuts and bolts of the solar system.